Okay, good morning. My name's Tracy Warren. I'm the managing director of eWomenNetwork Snohomish County. And I started these business spotlights to highlight the members of our chapter. And I asked Anna to join us today. This is Anna Rohrbough. I'll have her tell you about herself in a minute. But I asked her to join us today because she's up to some really cool stuff with another member in the chapter. And you know, eWomenNetwork's a little different. We don't like track referrals and keep track of things, which is, not that that's a bad thing, but there are some cool collaborations happening. So Anna, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Sure, Tracy. I'm a transformational leadership trainer, coach, and speaker. And I can do the whole spiel, but I love to help people move forward in their lives, their careers, empowering them to move forward in their personal and professional lives is my passion.
So that's I love that. Inspire them to move forward. Do business owners, are they usually pretty aware when they're stuck?
Well, that's funny. If they're not ready to move forward, then they're probably not the right client for me. A lot of times the questions they're going to be asking themselves is, I know how to get there. Why am I not getting it? Why is that other person getting it and I'm not getting it? And, why are they getting the, maybe, more followers on, we'll use social media queen, right? But why am I not? Why not me? Is a common, great question is start asking, what am I missing? If they're asking, what am I missing? It means they want something else, and that's an indication to me. But no, sometimes they don't know, and if they don't know, they're not ready. I believe that we get these whispers, and if we listen to them, it means that we're ready. But it's up to us to listen to them. So I can't work with somebody who's not ready, but sometimes they're ready, but they don't know what they're ready for.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that even this partnership that you've formed with Jamie, that she's a perfect example of that, right? Like she's ready. She just wasn't sure what she was ready for. So will you tell me a little bit about how this all came to pass and what you two have cooked up? And
Jamie and I have been working together for a little under a year, maybe. And Jamie, is this just for our eWomen Snohomish County?
Anyone will see it. Jamie Rentco is her name.
Yeah, but I mean, is this public outside of our Snohomish County? Okay. So that's going to limit some of the things that I say. Not about Jamie, but about things that are going on in my personal life. I'm just kidding. I probably won't limit anything. She, if you know Jamie, she's been all about resting the last 6 months. And so I think this is a great step for her to figure out if this is some way she wants to go forward or not. And she mentioned something to me, and I put something in her ear about 3 months ago. And she came to me, I think, a couple months ago now, and said, okay, I might be ready. So we don't know what she's ready for. I don't think she knows what she's ready for, but the thing is with any kind of action, if you're not attached to the outcome of it, it'll show you a way forward. So I don't know. The event is tomorrow.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's tomorrow.
The event is tomorrow, and we only have a couple spots left, but we're really looking forward to it. She's going to be brought in as I'm partnering with the John Maxwell team, and I'm going to be using some of the leadership techniques and tools that I use when I teach my leadership courses. And we're going to go through some really great things, critical things, and then we're going to be attaching some activities to it that are going to bring out more of what the person attending needs. And Jamie and I are both going to wrap around our direct sales stories and what made she has over 20 years in direct sales, and what made each of us a success at the higher levels, and then also at the lower levels, what got us there and why we took a step back at times, and then why we move forward again. And I call it kind of behind closed doors, the real conversations that are happening inside any kind of sales, but direct sales. Actually, it's not just direct sales people coming tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. I love different perspectives, but going back to what you said about Jamie, it's about I think just her and me too, kind of finding out if this is one of the directions that I want to go forward to, and if she wants to keep kind of working towards this way. Jamie has a big vision ahead. I don't know if she has a big vision. She has a big life plan, and I don't know if it's in her plan, but I think someone else has a plan for her, and so this is a great step for her to move forward.
Nice.
And me, I get to be a witness.
Well, yeah. That's awesome. So so how do people work with you? What does that look like? Oh gosh, that reminds me, I never responded to your invitation for coffee. Anyway, I'll get back to that. But what does it look like for people to work with you?
Well, outside of the obvious, like a workshop or the leadership courses, which you jump in, I teach them either 3 a session course, 5 or 8. Outside of those, which by the way are going to be coming up to some chambers, not just Muckle Teal Chamber, which I'm involved with, which I've been teaching the courses at, but also around the community. So that's a great thing for people to jump in on. But as far as coaching one-on-one, I do a package of 4 months. So there's 8 sessions in 4 months. And I do that for a reason. It's the consistency and the kind of the working out of getting to know each other. And I believe that you can put anything in front of the word coach. And for me, right, a coach is the pure word of a coach in the terms that, the ICF defines it, and is about being a powerful thinking partner for you. And I don't come in with an agenda. Okay, so I come in and I sit alongside of you, and it's the power that we create together that creates the energy and the trust to go behind. Well, it's funny, behind closed doors, but behind what's underneath the issue going on. So maybe you say, I really want to be here in 6 months, and I believe that all the systems and everything out there are great. We need those tools. However, when we get to a certain point, no amount of tools is going to get us to the next level. That's where I can help everything that you've been doing, invested your time and money in, and wondering, why isn't it working for me? Right. Or why won't I open the box? I just spent $500 on that program. Why is it still sitting in the box, right? I come along and kind of get into those, okay, what's holding us back? And I don't ask that question necessarily. It's kind of it's a art in the questions and getting behind the filters that we put up. And one-on-one is one of the fastest, best ways to move forward. And I started moving forward and getting clear on my direction when I got my own coach. So I really believe, I have a house cleaner, and I'm going to admit it, because I like a clean house, but I don't have time anymore to clean my house. So before I got an assistant, I got a house cleaner first, right? Because that's something I can let go. But she has somebody come and clean her own house, because she says, I can't see around the corners. And she gets frustrated, and I'm like, I love that. Thank you. First of all, it makes me feel so not guilty for having a cleaner. I mean, she only comes every 2 weeks, but that'll be a long-term vision to have someone come every week. But by the time I can do that, my kids will be out of school, so it won't matter. But I
want to never cook again. That's my cleaning. I should hire.
I tell you, when I've done the things, like the workshops or whatever, one of my visions is to have a cook. But I'll be honest with you, I just did that. I have someone come in once a month, and because my kids have soccer every night. So I'm gone from 5 to 9. It's not always 5 to 9, but there's 3-hour block in there. One time, the other time, the other time. And so she just comes in once a month. It's not too much, and makes 5 or 6 meals. And then I can extend the meals because one kid is at home. And so I freeze half of them, and then it lasts us a couple of weeks. The food doesn't last a whole week, but it's those times that we're not ordering pizza every night, which my kids, of course, would love, but it's not super healthy. So that just alleviated some of the stress.
Well, and it's interesting. I feel like that is something that's come up on every blab, is this whole I keep hearing this same message over and over. If you own a business, you shouldn't be cleaning your own house.
I think, yeah, absolutely. But I think there is also a mindset thing. Like I've had to work through the mindset all along. When I was in direct sales, it's such busy work. And I think there's a lot of people out there that have been, and you've been in direct sales, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's so much guilt. We feel like because we're choosing to be home, that we should be taking that responsibility on. And I think there is a place for that. If you're treating it as a hobby, then yes. But when you're ready to move forward, right? I had a house cleaner for years when I lived in Utah, and my husband didn't know about it. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying lie, I never lied. She just came during the day and he didn't know the difference. And I kind of already had a conversation with him about it. And he's like, no, I don't think we need one. I was like, yeah, that's baloney. See? Ooh, I did not swear right there. That's a win.
That's a win.
Oh, this is being recorded.
Oh, shoot. So
yeah, how did we get into that? I don't know.
No, you were talking about how you hired a house cleaner before you hired an assistant.
Yes.
Which that's pretty amazing. So thinking about an assistant, what kinds of tasks do you have your assistant do for you?
When I was in direct sales, so I had an assistant for several years. So it was after I moved back to Washington, and that's almost 6 years ago. And I realized that I couldn't, the age my kids were, where were you? I could not grow my business past what I needed to do and be sane. And so I decided to put an ad in, hired an assistant, and she did all the stuff I didn't want to do. Labels, some follow-up, put the hostess packets together, would redo, whatever I needed to do, make a flyer, whatever I didn't want to do, go to the mailbox, because in direct sales, it seems like you're always going to the mail for one reason or the other. Even if it direct ships, it doesn't matter. You're always going to the mailbox. And so I just had her do everything I didn't want to do. So then I could concentrate and go in and maybe do the right phone calls and be in a different space when I was talking to my hostesses and be more present at the parties, rather than thinking, oh my gosh, if I get 4 parties booked, then I've got all this crap I have to do.
Right.
Right? Which is a limiting belief. You go in and you think, okay, I want these parties, but then you're thinking of all the work it's bringing to you. And so energetically, that could be one reason that you're not booking. Now, I didn't mean to go down direct sales. Now I'm in a different business. And it's been 3 years, and I just hired an assistant, a VA, on Monday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's new. I mean, there's little steps that you go through. I'm having her help me with setting up a new email marketing campaign. One of the limiting beliefs I had before I hired her was trust. And I told her, I was like, I'm having a hard time trusting with, not that I don't trust her or a person, but to put all your social media out there to do, she's got my password to my website, and you sit and you do all this time building your brand and your energy and people are connected with you. And then what if they screw up the page, or what if they, it's like, I screwed it up many times, but I can fix it, right? Like I can go and fix it. And you just have to let go that the right person at the right time. And then you have to just kind of let go of the strings. And so it's been really good. I keep telling her I love her, and so she might walk away from me. I might be too aggressive. So I'm just kidding.
Well, so it's interesting because a minute ago you were talking about how in direct sales you had an assistant, but a few minutes ago you also talked about how people resist getting an assistant because it's a mindset issue. Mm-hmm. So can you talk to that a little bit? Like, what do you mean when you say that? Hi, Kelly. Wait, let's stop. We'll say hi to Kelly Sadama.
Hi, Kelly.
Can you see when people join?
Oh, I see her beautiful face. Way up there in the corner, right?
Right, but she's also, it says at the bottom on the right-hand side, it says Kelly Sadama joined. Okay, so mindset around money, and because I think you hiring an assistant when you were in a direct sales business, that is rare. I think in direct sales. unless, I mean, I don't hear about a lot of direct salespeople hiring assistants, but what's the mindset?
I think it has to do with about value and money. And am I going to be able to keep, I mean, I think there's many things, but the one that's coming up for me is about value and money, and will the money keep coming in, right? You know, can I keep doing this and then provide for somebody? I mean, I'm not providing, I'm limiting the hours, but, and I think also you have to be prepared. It's kind of like when we were talking about buying a new system, right? Well, are you going to actually open that and apply it? Because then it's worth it, right? It's like I'm really careful about who I bring into work with me, because I've made many mistakes. 2 years ago, I made a mistake. I spent over $3,000 on something I was not ready for. But it wasn't a mistake because it clued me into I wasn't ready for it. Right. And so, I mean, I make more mistakes as we go. We have to make mistakes, but I have to teach myself a lesson from it. And that lesson was, okay, be really careful on what's holding me back. That was the thing. That was the thing I learned. I had to figure out what was holding me back from doing and taking the action to get the result that I said I wanted. And that's when I had a coach, then it was like, oh, you know, and I wanted to punch him in the face sometimes, but I'm like, in fact, I was on a mastermind last week and someone said to me, oh, I forget it. It was such a big thing. And it was something about having a sales conversation with somebody. And I said, well, I wish I could remember. Maybe I'll remember by the time we're done. And I said, and it just, to my awareness, and there's 4 of us in this mastermind, and they're all high level. One's a CEO. They're all around the country. And that's why I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning to have the conversation. But he said to me, what if it was this? And I said, I just sat back and I was just, oh, it's like, I don't want to admit it. I don't want to admit that's it. But it was totally it. It helped to release it. You know, I journaled on it and I thought about it. I was like, oh my God, it still happens. It's still a journey. I mean, we don't arrive. We just keep moving forward.
I used to say that, and every time I'd say, I was like, you know, as a business owner, I kind of thought that eventually I would arrive, and anyone I said that to would just start to laugh.
Yeah, right.
But I think we really do believe that when we start a business, right? We think someday, hopefully sooner than later, I'm going to know what I'm doing. Like, I'm going to wake up every day.
You're going to be on that beach in the hammock doing your business. No. I mean, I think yes, you can, but you're not going to be doing that every day.
No.
And you didn't get in this business to do every day. We're not in this business or any business that you're working your heart and soul in. You're not working in this business to retire someday. And if you are, and that's your passion, then that's great. Like a lot of people want to do one and done, meaning, you know, work 5 years and they can retire for the rest of their life. But, you know, most of us want to keep empowering people and find the right thing that brings passion to our lives that we can keep doing and offering to people in a different level. Maybe we have a bigger team, and so we're only touching base 10 hours a day. 10 hours, that's now. We're only touching this 10 hours a month or something. But, you know, I mean, in reality, I think, you know, we want to, all of us women want to find something that we're truly passionate about that extends past us. So you were talking about assistant at direct sales. Is that what you? Yeah. Okay. Did you answer that question?
Because I was really asking about the mindset around an assistant. So when I tell people, and I know that you hear this, because whether it's hire an assistant or hiring a coach, that people's initial response is, I can't afford it.
Right.
So how do you have a way that you respond to that? Or do you, if somebody says, I can't afford it, do you already know, like, is that a signal that they're not ready for you?
No, I don't think so. Because I mean, the facts are the facts, right? If they're only bringing in $1,000 a month and that pays their bills, right? Then, or, you know, whatever the terms, it could be $12,000 a month. And I mean, that's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're bringing in $500 a month or $500,000 a month. We all deal with the same problem, right? So I wish I could say I was bringing in $500,000 a month. Like I want to be part of that But the thing is, you know, when your mindset is the same, it doesn't matter what level you're at. right?
Mm-hmm.
Does not matter because you're under the scarcity mindset that there can't be more. And so I think, when someone says I can't afford it, I believe that they can't afford it. I believe that they believe that they can't afford it. And so what can we do? I used to be a financial consultant, so sometimes I break into that a little bit, but that's because I believe there's a mindset behind that. So it's
right.
Okay, so what do you believe your value is, and what do you want? It's about the next right step. So I would ask the person, okay, what is going to allow you to take a breath, right?
Ooh.
What's going to allow you just to take a breath and breathe? So what's that next right step? Is it making $50 more a week? So you can go buy new shoes if you want at Target. I mean, I don't care where you go buy new shoes, but that's the next right step, right? Mm-hmm. Or that you can just breathe and know you're building your savings up, your account up. And then I would say, most of us aren't quite there, but and what's holding you back? Why do you believe that? And sometimes we have to go back. We have to go back a little bit to find the thread. And a lot of people ask, what's the difference between counseling and coaching? And we go back often, but we don't linger there. We go back, figure it out, bring awareness around it, to use it to take action to go forward. So, we can't change the past, but I believe everything is happening at the same time. This is going to be past, future, and present is all happening at the same time. So if we bring awareness into our future, we can actually heal the past and create our future all at the same moment. So it's kind of bringing light rather than stuffing it in the background. So it's kind of deep, but let's move on.
All right. So I know that you use journaling. You just mentioned that. How do you use journaling to help you move forward in your own business? Because I know, just because you're a coach doesn't mean you're free from head stuff.
No, I just told you, last Friday, I was like, seriously? It was such a simple thing, Tracy. You would have knocked me over the head. I'm like, oh my God, Jamie would have knocked me over. She would have said, yeah, you dummy. That's not what she would have said, but I can't say it.
No.
No, so I'm like, well, that's not happening. And that's the thing. I think that as we keep growing and getting more confident in our strengths and own our power, our individual power, then we can open up to being a dumbass sometimes. We can be like, oh, I totally missed that. I don't miss it in other people, but I missed it in myself. And that's one thing that a coach is great for, because you really cannot see, I keep saying this and I don't want to say it anymore, but you can't see the forest when you're standing in the trees, right? You can't. Right. And it's like typos and stuff. When you're rereading it, you just don't see it. You just don't see it. And, it's mirror, mirror on the wall, it's
I'm redesigning my website right now, and my designer sent me every sheet yesterday. And my tendency is like, wow, it looks amazing, go. And my accountability buddy this morning, she's like, Tracy, this is not your strength. You are not a details person, but you need to go through every page and actually look at it. I'm like, but Mike, okay, can I just hire someone to do that?
That is a good, when you know you want to hire someone, then that means you need to stay in your strength and work to where you can get to hire someone. So the joy you can have is in 6 months, I'm going to have someone else do this for me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
but what she said was, Tracy, you know your clients better than anyone.
Absolutely.
Which is why you need to go through. Okay, so journaling. You answered the question another way, and I do appreciate that you said that you failed, because I think that I read a book once, and all I thought was, I want to fail faster. Yeah. And hopefully, I fail inexpensively, because unfortunately, a lot of business owners fail and it's super expensive. They pay for a $3,000 program. That's ugh. Yeah. But that mindset piece, I remember talking to a gal the year before last at eWomen conference, and she was like, Tracy, I really think you need to come to a VIP day with me and we'll work on your mindset. And for me, I wasn't prepared to spend what she was asking me to spend. But in addition, I think mindset takes time. you can't just go through a day and go, okay, I'm fixed.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful that I've taken the time to work on my mindset. But so journaling, how do you use journaling in your business?
Well, I think the first question you asked me is personally, and I didn't know. I was stuck 2.5 years ago, and because I had started doing this, I got out of my business, and which was a whole different thing there, and because I was really good at it, and it's kind of like, and then I had friends kind of bail on me, and so that was a whole learning curve, but I got into this right away because I got out of that to get into this, right? Are you looking at my dog?
Yes.
And so then I came out raring to go, right? Oh my gosh, I went to certified training with John Maxwell team, and we're talking high level powered people and incredible, and it continues. The amount of information, the growth, the journey still continues, but it was like drinking water from a fire hose, right? You've heard that expression. And I was like, oh, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And then I decided I was going to do this thing. And it was like, wait, because my identity for me is that, I'm in a way fearless. I'll take risks. And I felt stuck. Like, why can't I do this? I know I can. I have the people behind me to help me. Why can't I pick up the phone and call this high-powered person just to ask them a question? That's who I am. My husband would be like, oh my God, you'll go in any room. And he would tell me before some of his conference meetings, because he's a VP, he's good. And he's like, okay, Anna, when you meet the owner, just don't invite to get on their yacht. I mean, like, seriously, literally, I would do stuff like that. And he'd be like, can you just wait? Like, just wait until like the next time you meet them. I'm like, but why? I'm connecting with them. They invite me. I'm not even inviting them. They just invite me. So, I don't have a problem talking with people. And for me, I don't see that they're more powerful than I am. Right.
I'm with you.
So that's a strength. But I couldn't. I mean, I was stuck, and I was like, oh my God. And that was one of the things I went, oh my God, I did not know this, but there's something holding me back. Because even when I was running a successful business, all the other businesses I had too, was still in my comfort zone. Like, there was I was working on my strengths in my comfort zone. And even when I stepped a little out of my comfort zone to go towards an award, it was just a little out. So I kept growing a little bit, but it was never, it never shook me from the inside. And this shook me from the inside. And the reason I was so attached is because I felt without knowing it, that I was supposed to go that way. I felt it, right? I could not turn back. I was supposed to go this way. And it was kind of like, well, why can't I? And so that's when I realized I had to do something different. And I had to figure out, because it felt like it was just me. It felt like it was just me. Okay, I just don't have the belief in myself. And I went back to this limiting belief that I couldn't achieve all I wanted because my dad wasn't here to believe in me. And, all these things were coming up. And it was like, I thought I dealt with all this crap, right? But you never do. And so then another 6 months went by, and, learning, kind of keep piling in information and awareness. And I got into this intuitive writing class, and it was the absolutely best thing I've ever done, because, and I teach on it, how to do it, but also for the people that are listening, basically, you put your hand, this is the most amazing tool you can do for yourself. And you can ask Jamie about this. She only does it. She's only done it twice.
Yeah, because she really does not like journaling. No,
but those 2 times have been huge awarenesses. So I think there's, we don't want to go too far too fast. But it was a weekly thing, and a prompt. We discuss, and we get together, we talk about a prompt, and you put your hand on the piece of paper with this prompt in mind, and you write. You don't lift your hand off the paper. So you're like, you don't lift, so you can doodle. One woman next to me would just doodle, and then she'd start writing again, and then doodle, but 10 minutes, and it taps into your subconscious mind. So when you reread it, you will not believe what you wrote. Like, you'll be like, not all the time, but when you're in it.
Right.
And I think the classes that I like to do is when so you get in a small group of people you trust, and you read what you wrote, which is a problem for me because I can't often write read my writing, and which means I'm in it, right? Because I'm not caring about how it looks. And but when you reread it and the other people give their feedback, it's not about judging, it's about, oh my God, I hear so much power. It's always that. Oh my gosh, there's so much strength. I hear power. I feel like you felt like you were this way and now you're free of it, or, you know, or this, or just an awareness of that. It seems like it's this journey. And it's just, honestly, I think that people in my groups know each other more than their spouses know them on a different level. They don't know their daily stuff, but my husband doesn't know the things that come out in this writing. Like it is, I mean, it's just, so it's one of the best tools that you can do, especially in a group setting, but even by yourself. If you take the time, 10 minutes, that's all. And if you take the time to reread it, you don't have to reread it because what came out is already in you and it's just surfacing to the conscious. So if you don't want to reread it, you do not have to. So I think that's a powerful and really powerful coaching tool that you can do on your own, or, you know, join a group class that you feel safe in.
Do you have a group class like that?
I do. I'm actually launching one in May.
Okay, will you tap me for that? Because I remember we talked about this at an SBI, and I was like, oh, I'm so in.
Yeah. I'm just figuring out a location and time. So maybe I'll email you, or maybe if people want to say what times work best for people, not that they have to do it, but location and time is, because I can do it locally. I have a place in Mukilteo. And, you know, like people tell me, if you do it, people will come. The right people will come.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to launching that in mid-May is what I'm looking at.
Yeah. Awesome.
And it's a great affordable way. Rather than doing a coach one-on-one, it's a great, much more affordable for people and almost just as powerful, but almost, not quite.
Almost. I get that. Oh, I needed a venti today. Oh, somebody else just joined. The Erica Blair. Hello, Erica Blair. Do you know Erica?
I do not. Hi, Erica.
I don't know Erica either, but you know, you just never know.
Yes.
Okay, so what was that transition like for you from your old business to, like, how did you, okay, you did say you couldn't not do it.
What I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Right.
So how did that all come to pass that you jumped into this coaching?
Well, I knew for probably 2 years before I got out of direct sales that I wasn't supposed to be there anymore. I knew I didn't want what was on the other side of it. Meaning that it's great, but that wasn't the business I wanted to build. And I had lost my passion for it then when I was fine where I was at, and I didn't want to go farther, and that's not who I am. I'm not. One of my top 5 strengths is learner, and so I felt like I wasn't learning anymore, and I was getting tapped to do some trainings on the national level and stuff like that, but for leadership. And because that was one of the big things that I thought, that there was a missing element in how, once you got to a position, and I think this is with any business, we get promoted because we're good at what we do. And then all of a sudden we're in a different environment where we're supposed to be leading people. And they don't really, they don't teach it in school how to lead people, right? Or how to lead ourselves, right? Because for me, it always comes back to leading yourself first. And so I could see that was a missing thing. And I was really I didn't say it then, but I was feeling called that was the direction I wanted to go to. And then I started kind of looking back at the path of my life, and I call it the threads that linked my past. And I realized there was this huge leadership link and empowerment. And so, I was already kind of feeling that I wanted to do more of those kind of things. So when that came in my awareness, I realize I thought I wanted to become somebody, but I already was that person. So that's important. I already was that person. And that's a belief thing, that I already have been that person all through my life, right? And we think that was one of the limiting beliefs when I was struggling, is like, well, I'm not this person. I haven't been in a corporate career like my husband for 20 years, you know, like how could I add value? And then you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, I've ran teams. I've started a business from scratch. I was a financial consultant for years, and all these things I did well to my ability. And they led me here. So you asked me, how was it to kind of transition? Well, the transition actually kind of happened uniquely. I got hired from another direct sales company that was launching in the United States to come help them launch here. And I was ready to move out of the business anyways. And I had somebody, a clairvoyant, told me, I was like, why did I do that? It only lasted about 6 months until I realized it was the same thing. I mean, I was training, but I was still doing the direct sales stuff, which is great, fantastic. But my kids were starting to do the soccer 5 to 9 every night. And I'm like, this isn't going to work for me. And I realized, oh, it's the same thing. But I realized, a clairvoyant told me, I said, why did I do that? You know, and then I burned all the bridges with, I didn't, my friends burned the bridges because they were bad, because I didn't stay, right? And not all of them, but the ones that hurt the most, right?
Right.
And I asked her, I said, why did that have to happen? She said, because you needed that direct breakage. You needed to complete, you know, and I thought, oh my God, that's so true. Because I wouldn't have learned that about those friends for another year or two, and that would have held me back, right? And so that then led in, okay, I was doing more leadership for this new company, and I was like, oh, I really like this training thing. Really, I'm liking this. You know, I'm not just doing it at a conference. I'm like, okay, I really like this. I felt like I was empowering people, and I couldn't have said it 3 years ago, but I can say it now that that's who I am. And so, so that led me to just, you know, something happens in your awareness and you see it. I saw the John Maxwell team certification. I didn't know it was certification. I just saw somebody that I trusted, I know, like, and trust. And I saw that she was going through it. So I picked up the phone and called her. I said, what's this all about? And so she started talking to me. I started investigating. I'm like, I just knew it was the right path. And then it was like the drinking water from the fire hose. It was a lot, you know, it's like, okay, what do I do? What path do I go down? And so that just kind of has filtered its way out. But, you know, I've been coaching my whole life without knowing it. I've been empowering people my whole life without knowing it. And it's just, I knew because it tapped into everything in my strengths. Even though I still need to get better as a coach, I still need to get better as a speaker. We keep sharpening our skills, but there's inherent strengths that we have. And it tapped in not only into my strengths, but also my passions.
Yeah. Well, and I love what you just said about, like, you had it all along.
Yes.
Okay, isn't that, there's a line in a movie, right? The power was yours all along.
Yeah, but I say it like you're already who you want to become. You just have to see it. It's just change it. And that was in my TEDx speech. It's about changing the perspective of your life. Changing who you are already, the perspective of, because we tend to see each other, especially I think in our 20s and 30s, through the perception of what we want other people to see us. And that's not right? I mean, we have to see. I remember saying to somebody, it was actually just 2 years ago, I was meeting with the president of a city council, and we were meeting, he's a John Maxwell fan, so we're meeting every month, just kind of for fun. And I realized, I was telling another coworker, I said, I wish I could see myself through his eyes, you know? And it was because I could see how he saw me, you know, powerful, you know, all of these things, appear, you know, everything. And that's how I see myself. But that was when I was kind of going through that 6 months, well, more, but of like, wait, who am I? Like, where am I supposed to go? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I stuck? Oh my God, this is really scary, because this is what it's because it was what I really wanted to do.
Right.
And I remember thinking, why can't I see myself through his eyes? And it was because we always put those filters on ourselves, you know? And so.
Well, and then we get into our 40s and figure it out, right? I mean, I really do feel like there's something that happens.
Yeah.
When the older we get, either it's that we don't care as much what other people think about us, or
And I think it depends on the people, right? Because you can see a 70, 60, 70-year-old, 80-year-old person, and they have no more wisdom than somebody that's 25. And it's about the reflection on their life. Like, someone just said to me, and you've heard this before, you can live the same year over 40 times, right? But so it really does depend on the person. So I think someone in their 30s can also gain some more wisdom than other people, but it's all about reflection. So when I started reflecting on the threads in my life and, and it's still coming up, something that happened last year has been bugging me, right? It's like a thorn in my side. And it's like, okay, why is that still bugging me? Why is that still bugging me? Of course, it's always a personal issue. It's never business. So I think that kind of.
Well, and how they're exactly the same, right? Like life and business, they go hand in hand.
Oh, yes.
Like you're not going to find somebody who's in a failure of a marriage that has an amazing business. Right? I mean, what do you think about that?
I think it's funny they said that, because I think that you can, because their energy goes towards their business, right? And so they can be really good, but there's something going to be lacking there. There's going to be some relationship thing that they don't have. They can be a highly successful business making a lot of money and still be off. And so they're never going to be happy. And I think that would be my definition of success, is having this. So I think that you can, but they're not going to be happy people. They're not going to be good. They might see themselves as happy, right? But there's a discontentment. There's an integrity issue. And I think there's usually a leadership issue. So I think we all have ceilings, and some people's ceilings are a multi-million-dollar level, but there's going to be something that they can't get past, and it will be in their personal life. So I think you can have a really, So I think it depends on how you define success.
So how do you define success?
You
walked right into that, by the way.
Yeah, that's okay. That's a great. I don't know if I've ever really put it on paper, but. Well, I'll be honest with you. I think for me, in terms of what I do, my daughter said to me, "Mom, you don't have to work. Why you don't have to. Why are you spending all this time?" And I said, "Oh, Ella," I was like, "I have to for me." And then she was busy. My daughter's 12. That's the story I wanted to share. But I realized that for me, when I kind of figured out my purpose, which just happened this last few months, that I figured out the underlying purpose behind my purpose. And so that's an evolution of a journey. But once you figure out your purpose, that never changes. The vehicle might change. The passion to get there might change. And so that's important to know. Like, I coach and train and speak, and I can see that my coaching business is going to keep growing, but my speaking business is as well too. So that's a different path, different plan towards my purpose. All along, I've been doing my purpose without knowing it. Right. And I can tell when I've been in my sweet spot, I've been living my purpose. I couldn't define it before. And I think that's something that grows as we grow older, is defining it, what's your purpose. And the more clear you are, the more filters you have to say no, the more filters you have of who you want to work with, not want, but who you should be working with, the more filters that come in. And that's why you see people get clearer and clearer and clearer about, and manifest. Things just start coming to them. You're like, why is it so freaking simple for them? Right? God, but they're getting clearer, and it's okay. Give yourself grace. It'll come. So for me, definition of success, I realized, I'll share my purpose since I talked about that. I always thought it was about empowering other people, because I was incredibly empowered by my dad growing up. And then I lost him. You know the story a little bit, but I lost him just days after I graduated from college. And so, it was kind of like, wow, and I know I lost it at a point because I was supposed to know what it was like to not be empowered. Right. And so, it's always, if I can empower people, I mean, I love that, one of my number one strengths is positivity. Right. So, so I love to be around people and be positive, and it's not a conscious thing. That it's not a conscious thing. So, but I always thought it was empowering people, and it actually isn't. It is. And I always put this caveat before, and I know I shouldn't. I need a coach to coach me on that. But, I always say it feels kind of selfish to say it, but it does. I know that I empower people when I'm empowered. And so my why is to be empowered. And I know when I'm in
Mm.
situations where I'm empowered, I'm all in. Like I am all in. And then I know I empower way more people around me. When I was in a committee,
Mm.
let's just say it was a year ago. And I was like, this isn't going in the direction that I wanted it, that I thought it should go. And it's not that that's okay, but I also wasn't being powered to match with my strengths. And I was feeling in a way disempowered. Not that I didn't have a voice, but I'm like, there was a disconnect. I'm like, oh, and then I realized it was because I wasn't feeling empowered there. And so that's one of my filters. If I'm not feeling empowered by what I'm doing, then there's enough out there. I don't need to be there. If I'm working with a client, which I haven't had yet, but honestly, it's in my filter. If I don't feel like I'm being empowered because I'm helping whoever, right? Empowering them, I'm being empowered, then it's not the right fit for me. That's a hard filter, but it's, yeah.
That's really fascinating. I just recently I had a client where it didn't matter what I did for her. She was unhappy. And I was kicking butt, like results wise, it was awesome. But because she was unhappy, so I think that you and I are a lot alike. Like I wasn't feeling empowered. My clients who tell me they love me and that I give them courage, like that makes me feel good. But
Yeah.
when she wasn't happy, it just like it drove me crazy and maybe that's why. So you said you have 2 strengths. You mentioned 2, positivity and learner. What are your other 3?
Have you done the Strengths Finder test?
I have. I have.
I actually think it's in that order. Positivity, and I think learner might be next, or connection or connectivity.
Yeah.
And the next one is futuristic. So that's about being able to,
Holy cow. You and I are so much alike.
And then the 5th one is woo. And then I did do the rest of the test, and I forget the 6th one was finally like an action thing. I was like, oh my God. So actually that helped when I went to, by the way, strengthsfinder.com, I think, or .org. I'm not sure, but it's $15 to do this test. We don't have anything out of it. But what it revealed to me is who I need to bring along as an assistant. I need someone that takes action, that's an executor, and so actually when I hired this person, I was a little bit nervous that she was very creative and she likes to connect with people. And I'm like, ooh, that's my strength. Like, don't need that. But then when in talking to her, she had all these other things. And I'm like, oh, you might just be perfect, because then we can connect on that. But she'll take action,
So right? You and I are only one off, because I'm positivity, connector, woo, futuristic. I can't remember my 5th one off the top of my head.
Well, and yeah, because I brought up learner before, and I have to be continuing to learn. And I learn from the people I coach. I learn every time I do a workshop. I learn every time I'm speaking, but that's still kind of new, doing it on purpose.
So other than the intuitive writing thing that you're launching in May, do you have other classes coming up, or what's next?
Well, I do actually. I have, and I'm calling it the Leadership Journal, which is the authentic journaling course. And so that launching in May, I'm launching.
So excited.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for that. That's great. And then I am launching, it's for men. It's called the Men's Room, and it's Real Conversations for Leaders. And we're going to go kind of base it off the Intentional Living book with John Maxwell, but that's a 7-month course. It's not a course, 7-month, 2.5 hours once a month. And it is specifically for men in upper level management wanting to do something of significance. So either in where they're working, but most of the ones that have been kind of coming to me are people that want to transition out and do something of significance. So, I got that clarity about working with men in a group when I went to Paraguay in February with the John Maxwell team and taught and facilitated on transformational leadership. So, so that's something, most of our viewers are probably going to be women, but if you have somebody that I'm being very selective and only having 6 people. So, I have to connect with them in order for it to be a group, because it's going to be powerful. So that's that. And then I am launching, I was like, there's something else. I'm going to be doing a free webinar on criticism, which you were at the speech.
Nice. Yeah.
In a couple weeks. That's what I'm working with my assistant on, when I'm going to launch that. And then after that, I'm doing a 6-week. It's going to be an online course where you'll get probably a 30 to 40 minute audio and then a 5-10 minute video. And it's about empowerment mentoring. I'm going to be, one of them is 1 week it'll be on You Are Perfect, how to know that we're already, we come out perfect. We come out as babies. It doesn't matter if your hair is red or green or you have one leg or one arm. You are absolutely, don't you look at those babies and you're like, oh my God, they're so perfect. They're perfect. And we lose that. And now I don't believe that we ever learn anything more. It's not acquiring more things. It's remembering who we were. And not in the past, but remembering who we were on the inside, because we're already perfect. So that's on that. Comfort zone is a huge one. And then after comfort zone will be terror barrier, because whenever you step out of a comfort zone, you know this, whenever you step out of a comfort zone, inevitably there will be a terror barrier that comes up. And that prevents, we step out and then we go boom, right back in, right? Like, oh my gosh, I did that. I don't want to do it again, right?
Right.
So terror barrier is a great one. Authentic journaling, when they sign up, they'll get that audio for free. So we can do that as we go along. And I can't think of the other. Gratitude is one of them. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is a big one.
So
yeah.
Where's the best place? I put your web address in the sidebar, but what is the best place? What's the best way for people? Because there's viewers that are live, but there will also be viewers that come back and watch this. Yeah. Where's the best place for them to keep in touch with you? Is it your website and they can sign up for your email list? And
they can sign up on for my email list right on the top. I'm actually just kind of transferring that. So yes, that's a great place, but they can email me at anna@annarohrbough.com, which you have my name somewhere here. So the last name is a little difficult, but it's
I got it.
You got it. And obviously I'm on Facebook quite a bit. They can friend me. I'm not real selective about the women that friend me, but I can be selective about the men. And then my Facebook page. But I think for right now, sign up for my list, because there's going to be some new activity coming when I figure out the time and the place for that leadership journal class. That will be in person though. But my empowerment mentoring series and webinar is going to be all online. And that would be a great place for anybody that doesn't live in Snohomish County to touch base. And I can do a lot of coaching over the phone. Right. Most of my coaching is over the phone.
Right. Well, thank you so much. This was really cool, because I feel like I got to know you a lot, actually. And I didn't realize we were quite so similar.
Yeah.
According to our strengths.
So let me tell you the website that they can go to for that. If they're in town and they want to go to the workshop it's called Beyond Direct Sales. So beyonddirectsales.com will link you to the information page, and then you can click on to go to Eventbrite.
Okay, perfect. That's your event tomorrow. Best of luck.
Thank you.
I know it's going to be awesome. And it's at the Bayside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bayside Bed and Breakfast.
Yep.
Love them. So thank you so much. And I need to figure out really how to stop a blab, but I'm going to stop the recording. So usually I just close it, and then it takes a minute, it renders it, and then it sends me an email, and then.
Oh, that's interesting. Thank you, Tracy.
And I will see you soon.
Bye, everybody.